Okay, so now we're gonna do the posterior leg. There's some really, really cool techniques that you can do for this area. So with the draping, you just want to pull the draping up so you have some access to the glutes. You can tuck it in if they wore underwear. Typically in Lomi, people will not wear underwear, but it's all to the client's comfort level. One thing you could do before the treatment starts is to lift up the leg and then pull the sheet through a little bit for some techniques that we're gonna do in a little bit. So there are a lot of really, really cool techniques you can do with the posterior legs, a lot of movement, working in through the calves, the feet, the hamstrings. It feels really incredible. So let's start off. So get your oil, spread it, make sure to go down to the feet. If they're a little bit ticklish, just provide a little more pressure than just really superficial. And so we're applying the oil, we're moving, we're engaging into the dance. And then we use our forearms to glide up and back and down. And we're lunging all the while, being conscious that we're comfortable. And you can do some nice kind of ringing, these little movements of your forearms, circular movements. And remember to engage the dance. So you can move as fast or as slow as you like. So some cool techniques you can do here is to place the foot on your shoulder. And then you can just do some nice ringing with your forearms, pulling up, a little bit of traction, and some nice, almost like you're playing a violin. You're going back and forth. Down, squeezing down the calves, incorporating a little bit of movement into it as you do it. You can even move down, stretch as you're working up, and then come back, and then back down, and then back up the calf, down the hamstring. You can move the leg to the side, so I can move the leg to the side, and as I do that, I'm working up the side of the IT band. And remember to incorporate a lot of movement as you're working through. And this is really good because, as we talked about, Lomi Lomi is about working down to the bone, improving joint flexibility, and providing some nice range of motion. Don't be afraid to work on the foot and the calf at the same time, using your forearms, using that twist technique where you twist the forearm and work down. Some nice long flowy strokes up into the glutes, back down, pivot at the glutes, back down, to the glutes, pivot and back down. And whatever works for you. You can even do this kind of technique where you're rolling the calves and rolling your forearms at the same time and back up into the hamstrings, all your hands, everything is moving, your body, your feet. So here we are moving down the calf, down the foot. As you guys can see, I'm rolling my forearms like this, and then as I go down the tissue, I roll the forearms down. You want to make sure that you follow it all the way down into the toes, not compressing, but gliding off of the toes. And this feels really good. You can even transition this into a little bit of a foot massage. So I would say with Lomi, just make sure to do a lot of movement with the leg. You can lift the leg, shake it out. And then you could do a little bit of a stretch at the foot. Don't be afraid to stretch the foot and bring the leg forward to do a stretch like that. And then you can just do a lot of movements with the foot. You can even squeeze and work on the foot when it's in this position. Engage your creativity. And then you can place it back on your shoulder and keep doing some nice range of motion, moving your body. And then just incorporate some forearms with it. And this feels fantastic. You can follow that up into the glutes, bring it over. So yeah, just engage a lot of movement when you're working with the legs. Okay guys, so I'm gonna do this whole leg all in one fell swoop so you can see it from start to finish. First thing we're gonna do is get the oil and apply a generous amount. I have the sheet pulled through for draping. You want to place quite a bit of oil on and then place it on your forearms. And then get into the flow. So moving up the leg, pivoting up the glutes, back down. Going up the leg, using the meaty part of my forearm, across the glutes, pivot and back down. Pivot and back down. So you're getting into the rhythm of the dance. You're getting very smooth strokes. Try to use two hands at the same time here. I'm pressing into the hamstring and the calf, and I'm stretching both at the same time. Coming back up, using my hands and my forearms. You can follow with the hand, transition that into the forearm, up the glute. You can grab the leg, bring them over a bit, work up into the piriformis and back down. So up, moving the leg, stretching out the piriformis and back down. Up, stretching out the piriformis and back down. And here we're moving with the hamstring, shortening the tissue, bringing it up, creating a stretch in the hamstring. As we pull down, so shorten the tissue, stretch. Shorten the tissue, stretch. If you feel like you're getting exhausted with Lomi, when you're first training, you can just start by going a little bit slower. It doesn't have to be so fast. That might be exhausting if you're not in the best shape of your life. So it is good for saving your hands. But when you start, feel free to go a little bit slower. And that's a good way to establish how to get into a good flow with it. But see how you're always kind of doing two things at the same time. And once again, into that hypnosis, into that flow state, out of your ego, and back into your body and the moment. As you guys can see here, I'm squeezing the calves. Don't be afraid to do a little bit of a violinist style technique. Embrace your inner musician. Going back and forth. You can even switch the arms and just do some nice little back and forth like that. And go down. As you can do this with my shoulder, I'm tractioning the foot, stretching the foot a bit. That feels really fantastic. Bring them down into a stretch. Then you can bring the leg over. You can even bring the leg over and work on the edge of the IT band and down into the peroneals. So you're splitting, going up. So she's kind of in this V shape, and then I'm going up beside the IT band into the glutes, over the greater trochanter, lessen your pressure, and a little bit more as you get into the glutes. And that feels really great. After you've done a couple of passes of that, a little bit deeper pressure into the glutes and up the peroneals and the IT band. Bring the leg back. You can lift it up, shake it out. Shake out the leg. Sometimes I like to do a little dance, might look silly. Hopefully you're not in a couples massage situation, or else your coworker will most likely make fun of you. And then back down, squeeze the calves. You can get a little more specific with your fingertips, opening up everything in the soleus. So I'm just bringing it down, smooth, smooth strokes. Stretching out the soleus. You can even use your hands, go up the glutes, down the hamstrings. As you guys can see, there's just so much that you can do here once you start getting really creative, incorporating a lot of movement. And your posture doesn't always have to be perfect, but just learning how to use your body mechanics, what you feel comfortable with, is a good way to go. You can even hold here, hold this stretch, and then use your body weight to drop down into the piriformis muscle, which will help to relax it. And then you're using your chest to drop down and stretch and bring the leg down as well. And this is no problem for me. I'm feeling relaxed in this position. And then once you feel like that's released, you can bring the leg down. You can work on the foot. You can do some kneading like this. Feel free to take the foot like this and just wring it out with your fingertips. That feels great. You could even just do some little joint mobilizations. Once again, working down to the level of the bone. You can release the life force energy, work a little breath into the body. Back down. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much a typical pass that I would do on the glutes and the legs. You can even go back and forth in some nice circular motions. Once again, channeling the movement of water, very fluid, waves crashing upon the beach.